Hey everybody, Matt here for AVC and welcome back. You know, we've done a handful of proper van tours where we're spotlighting product and showing you all the cool new stuff we've done, but I realized I've never taken the time to show you what I've done with my personal van. So without any further ado, here is my 2019 daily driver. The first thing I did to this van when I got it was put some new tires on this bad boy. So I put some 245/75/16 KO2s, pretty standard tire. I'm sure a lot of you have them on your rigs back at home, but they're a pretty surefire go-to. They look good, they drive great. Couldn't be happier with them. Because I had the stock wheels, I think they actually look pretty good, but I rattle canned them this like matte dark silver. I'm really sick of all black on black wheels. I think it's just overdone, it's kind of boring, but this dark matte silver is just right. Now, I know some of you are gonna ask, and yes, I just rattle canned these things. I prepped them with Simple Green. I used a green scrubby and roughed them up a little bit, and it's been 3 years now and they still look great. So yeah, you can powder coat your wheels or something like that, but these rattle can wheels hold up just fine. Up here at the front, I did a custom plate for AVC. Got to run the pride out there, AVC rig, so you can see me where you are. We also wrapped the hood black. One of my customers came in and he had his hood wrapped black, and I thought it was super cool. So we wrapped this one for the channel and look for that video. Because I have kid seats right here at this driver's side of the van, I like this AMA slider. The AMA slider is super nice because they can open it. It's more like a regular car window. We don't do much cooking in the van, so I wasn't worried about like running things in the rain, any stuff like that. And the AMA slider is really nice now that they have screens. I also did the graphics for the side of my van. I used to work at a sign shop right out of school, and I learned how to do vehicle wrapping and stuff like that, so I actually cut my own vinyl and wrapped it all myself. This is Mount Meeker, and this is Long's Peak, which are the mountains you can see from the parking lot at our shop. So it's a local design, it speaks to us here at AVC, and then of course, put a big old logo here at the back. At the back of the van, I have a bunch of cool stickers of things that I think are cool. Donut Media, big fan of their channel. I got my Jab. We got some Campo van stuff on there. Shout out to Dustin Klein, everything's been done. I also prototyped new stickers on the back here. So this is the very first NASA design for our AVC rig logo. Just kind of checking stuff out. Up on the roof, I have a medium roof rack. I have a couple of 100 watts of solar on top of a rooftop tent and 2 deck panels. On the side, I have a awning mounted on there because we do really enjoy having an awning on our van. But it's starting to rain. Let's run underneath that thing. So the van right now is actually set up in what I would call daily driver mode. I use this van to take kids to school, I drive it to work, I run to the big box store and pick up lumber or plumbing parts or whatever we forgot to order. I use it for everything all the time. I can fit 4x8 sheets in here. It's not the cleanest, but it does. And I can fit 14-foot metal from the metal supplier, so that's really nice too. The main difference is I would not normally have my sink in here. I usually just bring the sink for camping, but I brought it in here today so we could give you a tour. Before we head into the van, I do want to point out I have an early model step and trim here. So this is one of the early prototypes for doing an all metal step. So it was the metal trim, the step, and our insulated floor system. I kind of use this van as our proving grounds so I can test new ideas or test stuff on this before I offer it at the shop. That way if it sucks, it's in my van and you're not stuck with it. I did update our step after we had these come out and run through some production runs, mainly because I updated the AVC rig logo on them. So this isn't something we offer as a DIY, but it's something we do in all of our in-house stuff. And I think before we went to a trade show, I put a fresh new step in here. Up here in the driver's seat, it's a 19, so it has standard cruise control, Bluetooth audio, so my phone just automatically pairs to the stereo system, but I don't have the ability to watch Google Maps or anything like that on a fancy screen. The older cup holders are actually really nice because it'll fit my phone here nicely. So I do have a heads-up display and I can see maps as I'm navigating along or something like that. There's definitely a lot less tech going on in the 2019 than there is in the 2020 and newer. So all the doors and like extra cup holders and stuff are just like filled with swag. I get questions about my van all the time, especially because it's got the big wrap. So I carry cards around that have QR codes to our website. I carry extra koozies and stuff like that around. I usually have a handful of stickers. I think it's in a cubby over there. So I always have some cool AVC swag to hand out to people that ask me on the daily. So I have an 11-year-old at home and a 2-year-old. I added a Ford Transit aftermarket seat into this thing. This is a takeout seat from a passenger van, and we bolted it through the hardened steel frame rails of the van, so I do feel confident it's nice and safe. And this is something we do here at the shop. We install these. For the kid, the bigger kid, on this side, I have a cup holder that we put in the window. It's just kind of like a fun extra. We also added like a little keeper here for bingo cards, a tablet holder for long road trips. I highlighted a bunch of these on one of our other videos. The Ford Transit seat does have child seat restraints, so that makes putting the baby seat in here super easy. It's also nice having her really close to me here, so that I can reach back and hand her toys or make sure she's okay, check on her, stuff like that. I normally have a mirror here, so I can see her face as we're driving along. But after our latest trip, it hasn't made it back in the van yet. So back here in the back of the van, I have a full bank of overhead cabinets. These are our medium roof overhead cabinets, so they're a little bit smaller than the stuff we put in our normal vans. The insides are just as deep, so I can fit my normal camp stove in here. But, you know, we leave a lot of, like, I leave my coffee kit in here, I have sunscreen, I have bug spray, I have hot chocolate stuff, so I can keep the kids happy wherever we are. We have wipes, I have a diaper kit in here. This one is a little more empty because I pulled a bunch of stuff out recently from our last trip. So I'm just down to my spices in here and some cleaning supplies. Here in the middle of the van, we have our control panel. And this allows us to control all the systems and lights, things like that here in the van. So I have front and rear zone lighting so we can keep things dim on either half of the van wherever we need to. We have a direct mount task light that lights everything up under here. And that task light is actually tied to a voltage monitor, so I can check the voltage on my Goal Zero system without having to look underneath the bed. We also have an awning light that helps light up the campsite outside, or if we're hanging out past bedtime or something like that, we have some light outdoors. Below that is our Espar heater. So the Espar heater is a furnace tied to our fuel tank. It's a huge advantage. It's something I really wanted for a long time, and I finally had the chance to put one in my van. Keeps us warm all year long, and couldn't be nicer. I don't have a full kitchen in here, but I do have a permanently mounted fridge. I do love having a fridge in here all the time because I can have cold drinks, I can have some like lunch meat or snacks, whatever it is. And that kind of changes on the daily. So we just came back from a trip, so it's empty right now. But normally throughout the week or during school season, you know, it's packed with snacks and stuff like that. Having a countertop that is always handy so I can make a sandwich or something like that is really nice. It's just like a nice place that's always available to set something down. Sometimes the table's in here, sometimes it's not. If I'm just going on a mountain bike ride on a Saturday morning, a lot of times the table gets put off to the side so I can throw my bike in the middle. But then I still have a place to like set down all my stuff as I pack my mountain biking kit for the day. Down here, the heart of the van is our Goal Zero. When I built my van, I wanted to try out a Goal Zero and see if it was really gonna work for a van. And I'm pleasantly surprised with these units. Originally, I had a 1500X in here, and I would say that that is on the smallest side that you could actually get by. Now that I put the 3000 in here, it's really nice. Actually, when I designed these benches, we weren't using this system. So you can see I cut these open with like a jigsaw and a vibrating saw, mostly because I was lazy and I didn't want to take all the cabinets out of the van. And that's just the real life of being a van shop owner. I have a lot more time to build everybody else's van than I do my own van. So then back here, having a dinette like this, I actually use it mostly on my daily driver mode. Having a place to like be able to sit with the kids and eat, especially coming out of pandemic life. So, you know, we could go to a park, we could get takeout, we can go to a park and we can have our own mobile dining room. Like I mentioned before, I can hang out and like wait on one of the kids to finish their activity and have like a comfortable place to hang out. Or I can entertain one of the kids while the other one's doing another thing. And this is just like a really cool mobile home base. And that's why we call the thing that this is loosely based around a base camp, because it's that. It's like our little base station. Wherever we go, we have a comfortable place to be. All right, so that's it for like our daily driver mode. I'm gonna go ahead and convert this thing over to camping mode, and you can see what we do differently and how we camp in this van. With our conversion complete, welcome to Camp Matt. In an effort to keep the interior of my van pretty light duty for daily driving, I didn't want a full-blown water system. So I have this cabinet here, and I call this the Fountain of Use. So this is a standalone sink cabinet, and it's totally self-contained. It has a 6-gallon fresh water and a 5-gallon gray water system inside, and it all works off this little foot pump. So I don't have to plug it in. It's really simple. It lives in my garage from day to day, and then when we go out camping, I load it in the van for our drive to our destination. Once we're there, I bring it outside the van. I can use it out here under the awning, or we can bring it out to the picnic table and use it at the campground. So inside the van, the sink cabinet would normally live here, and that's what these clips are for transportation. But with the sink cabinet out of the way, we have lots of room to get in and out and like manage the baby and stuff like that. So I do have a swivel seat on my passenger seat, and that's swiveled around, and that really opens up the space. It gives us another place to land as we come in the door. We can sit down and like change the baby or feed the baby at night, stuff like that. So on the passenger seat, I have converted this to the Pack and Play. I keep this board here, and it's a purpose-built support for the Pack and Play, and that lives right here in the behind the seat, in between the seat and the fridge. And what that does is it makes a flat space out of the Ford Transit passenger seat. So this is keyed into our little Graco like travel size Pack and Play, which works perfect for the van. I did add a foam rubber mattress to this that we put a normal sheet over the top of, you know, a normal baby sheet. And that actually keeps the baby a little bit happier at night and a little bit warmer in the van when we're camping. If you look up on the ceiling above the pack and play, you're gonna notice these little silver snaps, and that's for a blackout curtain that I made myself. So I just took some like Cordura, this really light fast, and it packs really small, but I put some button snaps on there and I snapped that thing up all around the pack and play, and that helps keep the baby's area really dark at night. When we're in and out of the van and enjoying a campfire after she's gone to bed, we can still do everything we need to, and hopefully she stays asleep. So far, it's working pretty well. Up over my driver's cab, I have the Vancelary driver shelf brackets, and we built the shelf here at AVC. So one of the cool things about that Vancelary bracket is you get to build the shelf yourself. So we matched it to all the fabrics in the van, so it kind of blends in and it's not as overwhelming or is not as intrusive as some other products out there. It's a really great spot to store our vehicle shades. So these are all the shades for our windows, and we have those whenever we go camping. They're always close at hand, and it's a great spot for all those to live. So in the back of the van, we have converted our dinette to a bed, and I pulled my sleeping bags out of my overhead cabinet. So I leave those sleeping bags in there all the time. I have a support bench back here as well. So the plan is, as the baby grows up and transitions out of the pack and play, this can be an extra little like bunk bed for her back here. For now, we use it as a little gear storage. We can set our bags or backpacks or anything extra up on this, and our feet can tuck underneath here. And it gives us plenty of room in the van, but has a nice space to store some things, whatever we need in here. Now that the back pads are pulled off of these dinette backs, we can see some of the extra storage we have in here. So this is a really great place for incidental stuff, whatever we have like in our pockets or we just want to get off the bed. They work as a really good his and hers kind of cubby for both sides. I usually keep an extra blanket in here just in case somebody gets cold at night. I have some more paper towels as just extra storage for the kitchen. Back here over the bed, I do have a fan, and I really like this fan because it's more of an interior circulation fan. So I mounted it in front of the window so I can pull some fresh air into the build if I need to. But in the wintertime when everything's boxed up, it's still gonna help distribute that heat throughout the cabin and keep everything nice and even. It's a 3-speed fan and it has a timer, which is pretty cool. It's on this gimbal so I can kind of point it wherever I need to in the van. And it's a huge advantage because I don't have a rooftop fan like a Maxxair Fan Deluxe. And the reason I don't have a Maxxair fan is we have a rooftop tent. So let's go outside and check out that. One of the biggest roof nests that they offer. That means it has a queen size bed up there, so it's good for 2 people and they can both sleep comfortably. At the back of that, we have a little deck landing space. So it's about 2 feet by 5 feet. And it's just enough to safely get up onto the van, deploy the unit, take our shoes off, a good place to leave shoes outside so it doesn't dirty up the tent inside. But it kind of rounds out that rooftop system. On top of the roof nest, we have a couple of flexible solar panels. And this is actually my first time playing with some flexible solar panels. I did them for a couple of customers just to test them out and see if they worked. And although they're okay, I don't think I would do it again. I think a hard mounted or proper rigid solar panel is much more efficient, and I get a lot more gains out of it than I do these. Thanks for joining me on this tour of my own personal camper van, my daily driver 2019 Ford Transit. If you have any questions about the build, of course, hit me up in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.